All 7 of the Harry Potter full cast Audible exclusive audiobooks are finally released. And by this point, it's been 2 weeks since the 7th book came out, so most of you guys are finishing up or close to finishing, if not have already finished, the whole series. And yeah, are we happy? I'm happy. I enjoyed the whole series. And you know what? What better way to kind of go over how I felt about the series than ranking the entire series? And by no means, if it's at the bottom of the rank, it doesn't mean I don't like it. This is me ranking the series from my least favorite to my favorite. Doesn't mean it's bad. And it is slightly biased towards the story. So at the end, I will talk about my original ranking of the series, which affected this, but I'm also looking at it of, did the full cast raise it or lower it? And that's what we're going to get into. So let's start with my least favorite, which is going to be Chamber of Secrets. And I know some people are going to be like, yeah, but Chamber of Secrets is so good. Chamber of Secrets has always been kind of my least favorite of the entire series, which is weird because that's the one I started with. When I started reading the series 26 years ago, however long it's been, it was the first book I read in the series. I read it, I liked it enough to read the 3rd one, then read the 4th one, then go back and read the 1st one because there was only 4 books out. I'm old. I enjoyed the book, but it's probably the weakest in the story of the whole series. But I think cast-wise, it was, there wasn't anything special about the 2nd one that wasn't in the 1st one and wasn't in the 3rd one because it's the younger actors. Yes, Gilderoy Lockhart, played by Kit Harington, was a standout performance, but there are a lot of other performances that I'm also weighing into this, and it was good. It just wasn't my favorite. Now, my next one, which is number 6 out of 7, is Order of the Phoenix. And I think a lot of people will probably rank this a little bit lower. For the full cast, there wasn't a lot of special because so much of it was just narration in Harry's head, because that's literally what the 5th book is. It's about feeling confined. And the first 2/3 of the book is extremely slow. This is the longest book in the series, mind you. And even someone like me who just rips through books and can sit down and listen to an audiobook most days in one sitting, but this one, you can't listen to it in one sitting. It took me 2 full days to get through this. And the first day, it was so hard to get through. Yeah, there's good scenes in it. I enjoyed it, but there was a lot and it was slow. Does the ministry scene at the end pay off the first 2/3 of the book? Not as much as the other books do, with pretty fast-paced plot throughout the book. This was a very slow book, and the full cast audio did help, but I don't think it benefited from being full cast. Same as the 2nd one. Like, yeah, it was good, but I didn't feel like, oh my God, this is the reason you have to listen to the full cast audiobook. Now we're getting into some of the harder ranking. The first 2 were easy for me to rank, but it hurt me a little bit to put Goblet of Fire in the 5th place position. It was good. It was really good. But I think going from the child actors in book 3 to the adult actors in book 4 really hurt it because it was such a drastic difference. I think by book 6, it didn't bother me that Harry talked like this after talking like this for the first 3 books. But going from book 3 into book 4, it was really jarring, and it took me out. The 4th book is good. Like I said, none of these are bad full cast books. I think they're all good, but the 4th book is probably just really hurt from the full cast standpoint. But if you're still into this list, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because this is stuff that I talk about. I'm going to talk about Harry Potter and other things, but make sure to like and subscribe so I know to keep making stuff like this, because I may make ranking videos or tier lists, and just, next thing I may do is a tier list on each book of the different audio book variety. But you got to let me know if you want something like that. So the next book, 4th place, Deathly Hallows. And I understand it's probably low on my list compared to probably a lot of people's because it's the most recent one. But Deathly Hallows was never my favorite book in the series. And like I said, the story itself weighs a little bit more on the full cast as well. The ending, fantastic. But for most of the book, you get Harry, Ron, and Hermione talking. And it's like, okay. The end of the book, yeah, this is the reason we have the full cast. And the little scenes sprinkled throughout the 7th book, which is better than how the 5th book is, but just the little scenes, great. I liked it. Like I said, I don't hate these. I enjoy all of them, but I have to rank them in a certain way. These last 4, these are the reasons we have the full cast audiobooks. They're fun, they make you feel things, and book 7, fantastic. But I think it's right on that line of like, there's a lot of stuff that's like, did we really need full cast for this one? Not really. Like there's not really any new characters introduced. Yeah, we get Xenophilius Lovegood, we get some other minor characters introduced, but like most of the characters that we see are characters that we've seen before. Now, in 3rd place is Prisoner of Azkaban, which is heavily weighted on the story. It is one of my top favorites of the Harry Potter series, but I think it was the point where it allowed the child voice actors to actually like flourish, because they've been doing this for 3 books. So they're at their peak, they're doing well. I think this is really what sold the casting department for the Harry Potter TV show on why Arabella Stanton is a perfect Hermione. I think this was a great book. And I think Iwan Rheon, really sold the 3rd book. Like, he was fantastic in this book, and I was very hesitant just because I only really knew him from Game of Thrones and the Inhumans TV show that Marvel put out, where both of them he played a slimy villain. And I think it worked really well because you kind of didn't trust him the entire book, which is kind of the purpose of Remus, is you're supposed to be like, he seems like a nice guy, but something off about him. And that's the point of Lupin, is you're not supposed to trust him, but the little like tweaks and emotion that Iwan Rheon put into Lupin's voice, like a voice crack when, he's talking about James and Lily. And it's just, those are little things that probably weren't directed to him because other characters didn't do that during the series, that he chose to probably do to put that little bit of, personality into the character. And I think he did a fantastic job. And even in book 7, fantastic. I think he was probably one of my favorite voices in this series. But before I get to the final 2 books on Who's First, Who's Second, if you're feeling empty after finishing Deathly Hallows and you're like, I'm going to listen to it again, but I got to listen to something else. You don't want to get into that, book slump. Check out my reviews of Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is a fantastic series, and I'm reading through it again because I got into a slump after finishing that, because the most recent book of that came out the same day that Deathly Hallows full cast. So I went into a slight depression for a couple days because both of the series that I've been really into the past couple months both ended, and that was rough. But I'm back and I'm good. But check it out. It's a good series. Read it, watch my reviews. I think you'll enjoy it. If you like Harry Potter and you're an adult, which most of my demographic are men my age, you're going to like Dungeon Crawler Carl. So check it out. All right. So 2nd place is Sorcerer's Stone. And I think this is high up on the list because it was the first full cast audiobook. It was perfect. It was a short read. It's an audiobook. It takes a certain amount of time, but it's a day read. You sit down, you listen to it, you enjoy it. It's good. The sound when it first came out, yes, was a little bit weirdly balanced, but it has been fixed since then, and it's a lot better. It's good. It's quick. It's just enjoyable. It defines the purpose of why a full cast audio book is a thing. And it works. It works for the series. It shows off, this is why we have a full cast audio series. Okay, here you go. And I'm sure you can do the math. Half-Blood Prince is, I think, by far the best book in the series. And it is a bit biased, like I said, because Half-Blood Prince is one of my favorite books in the series. It is my favorite book in the series. But the Half-Blood Prince full cast audiobook exemplifies why the full cast audiobooks exist. Because it's not anything that we really asked for. Like, I never thought I wanted a full cast audiobook until it was announced. And when it was announced, I was even hesitant about it. I was like, I don't need this. I've got the Jim Dale and Stephen Fry versions. Why do I need another version of this cut to a year and a half after the announcement? And I have all 7, and I've enjoyed all 7. And I think this shows that this is kind of the definitive version of the Harry Potter audiobooks. Yes, Jim Dale and Stephen Fry are great. I'm sure you're putting in the comments, no, they're the best. That's the only way I'm going to listen to it. That's cool. If you want to listen to Jim Dale and Stephen Fry, and only Jim Dale and Stephen Fry, nobody's taking that away from you. But Now there's just another way for people to enjoy. And the amount of people who never read or listened to the Harry Potter books before this is what it's for. It's not for us Harry Potter readers who have read the books so many times that we don't actually need to read it because we know the story so well. It's for the people who watch the movies and only watch the movies and are like, hey, this full cast audiobook, that sounds like a cool idea. Let me get into it. And now they're like, why didn't I read these before, guys? Why didn't you tell me to read these before? We've been telling you for years to read them before. And it gets us excited about the TV show. But Half-Blood Prince exemplifies why these exist. Because at this point, we're used to the grown-up voice actors. At this point, everybody's hit their stride. They've done them enough. Like, we've been with the grown-up voice actors longer than we have been with the child voice actors by the 6th book. So it's the equivalent to the 3rd, where they've hit their stride. They figure out what they need to do. They've captured the character, and now they can put a little bit more emotion in there. And it's a funny, silly, sad book all at once. Like, the 5th one is all about dealing with grief and dread, where the 6th one is like, hey, you gotta move on from grief. Like, the dread and the grief are still there, but you gotta move on and you gotta live your life. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of fun. And this book is exemplified with the full cast. And you get a little bit of all the voice actors in this, which is kind of fun. You get everybody that you want to see. It's just fantastic. That's why it's at the top. All right, so before we go, my ranking of just the original Harry Potter books is pretty close to this. My ranking for the books from least favorite to most favorite is Chamber of Secrets, Order of the Phoenix, Sorcerer's Stone, Deathly Hallows, Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Half-Blood Prince. So 2, 5, 1, 7, 4, 3, 6. Let me know what your ranking for the audiobooks and just the regular books are in the comments below, and stay marvelous, Knox.